Because what mobile actually does, which John's done a lot, and other people have done, it actually takes the product to where the customers are. So actually, it's almost like the super location. It's where exactly they want it, wherever that wants it. But it is a lot of work, and it does limit sometimes your ability to get the throughput, which John referred to. So the ideal model, which is the model we've been sort of pushing, is a lot of these places a combination of mobile and fixed site. We actually use the mobile largely as a promotional tool. So if you're going to festivals, we call them shows. We don't have shows here. County fairs, is that what it is? County fairs, yeah. I'll get the terminology right eventually. I actually lived in the US for 6 months in the past, and so I should know the stuff. But, so that's the flow is after that, but it actually can go back the other way. And so there's actually synergy there. And there's the other synergy, which is really important, and I think you guys have got this, of course, is it also works the same if you're looking at a multi-activity facility. And I really like what Morgan's doing and Keith's doing, etc., because they're not looking just at battlefields as the only sole product. They're looking at multi-activity, getting synergies between the two, and this can be indoor or outdoor, right? For me, I've always had the ideal scene. Hasn't quite happened. I would really love to see battlefields too, sometimes where you've got both an indoor-outdoor option. Because unless you're going to get a giant space like John's made, that's fantastic, I'm going to tell you. Right? And that's not always the reality. You can get that bigger space. If you can have the option to use the outdoor environment for its space and its sometimes the environment is fantastic. But if the weather's really bad, you can go indoors or at least under shelter. The important thing there is, for a lot of groups, you want to guarantee that the event is going to go ahead. People hate risk. Risk is really bad. And if they're booking a corporate function, they want to know that it's going to go ahead, right, it's going to be okay. So it takes away a risk. Oh, you say, as long as you can say, that's fine, if we have problems, we go here. Oh, okay, tick that. Just because, you know, money tends to flow to things that people are confident in. Right? And that's where your branding and your presentation, everything comes to make, actually creates confidence that everything's going to go okay. Right? And that, which includes, obviously, things like equipment maintenance and those sort of things. Right? It needs to be done right. I'm actually a real stickler for this. Like, you know, I'm always making sure, for example, that our staff really get it, that in the workshop that each of those gaming guns get zeroed every week. Right? The scope lines up the infrared beam. Yeah? Right? We've got over 1,000 gaming guns in our under one arsenal. Fortunately, some of them are the Cobras we don't have scopes, but I've got to tell you, a lot do. And it's a big job. But I'm very, very certain that I want every player to have a good time. And it doesn't matter how good the mission was, how good the venue was, how good your marketing was, how pleasant your staff was. If they were to shoot that gaming gun and it misses when they've got it right on their site because the scope wasn't zero, they've had a really rapid time. They're a miserable time of it. Right? It just doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, the experience is what they see down the scope and they've got them, yeah, got it. If you don't have that, everything else is irrelevant. I don't care what the right. Need to zero them. Infrared camera is the best way to do it. I've found that it is certainly among the wealthier sections of the community, they do like events where it's very much, they feel in control and it's pretty exclusive to them. Is that a trend you've seen? Yeah. Mobile video parts, you know that, for sure. Dancing, yeah. Because they don't want to mix with the riffraff. Right? They don't. And because, again, this is risk. I need to make this risk thing. You know, the wealthier clients actually don't want the risk of who are they going to see when they go there. Right? So sometimes the mobile gives you the capability, and they'll pay more for it for exclusive. Right? And it's just them in their control, you know, in whatever location they want. So all of these things are quite synergistic, is what I'm trying to get. They all interconnect. But for other people that want on a budget, we run large public sessions in the woods. We're talking about capacity. In our busy season, we run games 150 gamers at a time on a field. 75 a team. So I've run, biggest I run is 279 people at once. 140 versus 139. One of the things this technology does very well is actually scale. We scale up to large groups unbelievably well. Everyone goes, how many staff would you need to do that? Actually, about 4. We cover a really big group. Really big group. Yeah, as long as I've got someone on Rego, someone on my clothes, maybe 2 on clothes, big group. Dressing people always takes ages. 1 to issue gaming guns. Right? Because once you're out to play, your medic boxes do all the respawns. Your master controller does the time game. You know, the game's not that complicated. Have a couple of refs out there, as actually more as coaches than refs anyway. You can scale up. Scale up really well. What we do well though is we can run a large number of people with a very small amount of staff. So we get some events like that. Right? And that's a real plus for us. And we like running big sessions. We much rather run big sessions than small sessions, I tell you. Make lots more money. Because it's done. You might need 2 staff really to run 20 people. I can run 160 people on 4 staff. It's much better, right? Do your numbers. And actually, you've got to take, because in Australia, the minimum wage is very high. So ours is $16 an hour adult minimum wage. Right? And Australian dollars worth more than the US now, so that's even more. So we have to be ultra efficient. Okay, really efficient. So just keep that in mind. Now, this is our thinking behind the inflatables. But I want to tell you a bit about running inflatable events at festivals. And some people are more experienced than me, but I've done quite a lot of festivals myself. I've been out there, I've done that. Now, it's no good setting up at a festival, right, if you're out the back somewhere. I don't care how big the field is, right? And I love this. You go to the festival organiser and they say to you, right, we've got the ideal location for you. It's really big and it's not being used. That's what I say, right? Okay, been there, I've done that. And they'll put you back, oh yeah, good, great spot. Way out the back somewhere with the cat or something, I mean, you know, right? And you will do no business. You will do no business. Don't listen to them. It's this location, location, location is the most important thing. And this is true at a venture park as it is at a festival. Right? If you're not right there where people are walking past and you're out in front, you're dead. I mean, you're dead. It's a complete waste of time, money. You just forget it. We will happily at a festival squeeze down to a small area to get a good spot than trying to get a big area, which would be great to play in, but no one comes. Because it's a promotional item, and they're only going to play for 5 minutes, they don't need a big spot anyway. If they walk 10 feet to start, go bang, 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 or even 5 feet, go bang, 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 you go, phew, these guns are cool. Look at that, get my stats, it says my kill to death ratio at the end, whatever, right? Great, they've just had a product sample. The second thing I found about festivals, and again, I know people that run mobile know this, but for people who are thinking about doing this sort of stuff, look, you've got to be a showman. Showman. We don't use the term festival now. What's the term? The guy stands out in the front and drags in the crowd. What are they called? Hawkers.
Like a dog.
Barkers. Barkers. No, gotcha, sorry. Barkers, right. Very good. Got the accent and some people never did that too. All right. But you know what? You've got to be, when someone's walking past and expressing some interest, right? You've got to go talk. You've got to show them, oh, you're interested, sir. Right, look at this. You look at the scope, get them to hold it, shoot a bit, right? Right? You know, you'd be amazed. I actually got one, this is so random, for one of our first festivals, this girl was just walking past, Asian girl. She happened to be wearing camo pants. That's all she was. She didn't look at us, right? I went to talk to her and said, hey, you're already dressed to play. And she went, what? Oh, yeah, look at it. She got interested. And you know what? She did play one game. But that night, she brought back all her Asian friends. Right? Man, it boomed that night. But only because I talked to her. As was mentioned before, this is my ex-Steve. Ben talked to me last night and told me this. It's an 80% is a people business. The technology enables you, mate. It won't solve your problems for your business. It won't. It absolutely won't. And don't think Battlefield Sports is going to solve all your problems by giving you a cool gaming gun, because it isn't going to make it that much difference. It's 80% about the person. We know that from our survey results. We know that when we survey we can see the good manager gets 9 out of 10 on their surveys, bad manager gets 2 out of 10, and it's the same sort of group, same sort of venues, right? And it didn't make a lot of difference other than who was in charge. It made all the difference, right? So just get that in mind. People, people, people. Now, if you I just got to sidetrack a little bit. When we're running festivals, we actually use a head wrap, and this happens to be a camo one, but we actually use red and blue head wraps, and we have our gaming guns colour coded with red. So we have the blue team versus the red team, right? And they're already set to teams, and already preset, locked in, done. So I know a lot of people like using the vest. That's fine. There are some. I personally don't like the vest because I think there's a real problem when people can duck behind cover and you can't shoot them and they can see you. Right? That wasn't how the equipment was designed. Hygiene is always concerned, but these are really, really, really easy to and everyone gets a fresh one. You don't give them, everyone gets a fresh headband. That's going to be a nightmare on and off all the time. It'll kill you. Right? But this is a kid size, one's a bit small, but they just put it on. And they end up just tying at the back, right? I won't do that, but just tie it at the back. And anyone, pretty much, can put a headband on, right? Most people can actually work that out. So just do it. And you make sure, basically, that the headband doesn't touch the skin. Because that's, right? You don't want the headband getting sweaty over a big day of a festival, right? You just have a whole heap of these. This is just a bit of material. They last forever. There's nothing to rip or break on one of those, right? Seriously, they last forever. You can put just a massive numbers in a washing machine. They dry really easily. Don't use caps. Right? I use these caps. They will disintegrate. And that's really easy on festivals. In my opinion, it's a better game that way. And I'm a bit of a stickler for a good game. But I find vests can get sweaty and they're hard to wash. Hygiene is very important to us, particularly the ladies. The ladies really want it clean. So you want to guarantee that what they're about to put on is actually 100% clean, dried, and fit for them. And that is really, really simple.